Y News with Angelo Castro III, William Theo, and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. Former Customs Commissioner Nicanor Failton accuses the son of Senator Panfilo Lacson of being involved in smuggling. John Ano will tell us why.
It came as a surprise for former Customs Commissioner Nicanor Failton when Senator Panfilo Lacson accused him of being involved in the corruption inside the Bureau. This morning in a press conference, the former BOC chief rebounded and made a counter-accusation against Lacson's son of being involved in cement smuggling. Failton says 67 shipments of undervalued cement were brought inside the country by Bongiorno, a company owned by Panfilo Lacson Jr. The cargo has a ₱1 billion estimated value. Failton adds that the company is registered as importer of computer parts, but it was later found out that what it is bringing inside the country are cement.
Now all you have to do, Senator Lacson, is to disprove that you own this. Dahil anak mo ang pumupronta. Anak mo ang pumupunta. Nagpapakilalang managing director. Don't tell the public half-truth. We want the whole truth. Yung half-truth is a lie. Imbestigahan natin to. Because according to the Cement Manufacturer Association of the Philippines, Bongiorno is the #1 smuggler of cement to the country. Hindi yan ako nagsabi niyan. And EU yan.
The former BOC chief also says that in the past, the Cement Manufacturers Association of the Philippines, or CMAP, has already brought Bongiorno's questionable transaction to his attention. In a phone interview, CMAP President Ernesto Ordonez said that they had been complaining about Bongiorno's illegal activities since the former customs chief Alberto Lina's time.
At the end of the day, I'm disappointed because of the 70% that I reported. The charges were initially contemplated. None were pursued.
Failton says he has already sent a letter to the President and the World Customs Organization to conduct an investigation on the anomalous shipment involving Senator Lacson's son. The former BOC chief also dared Senator Richard Gordon to investigate the said case. Aside from Lacson's son, Failton also reveals that many government officials are also involved in all sorts of smuggling in the country.
They want us out. They do not want the truth to come out. They want us all out. The 6 of us, because they are afraid of this. Now, I guarantee you this, maliit lang ito. Marami pang government officials na may kalokohan din. Now, I challenge the next BOC commissioner to reveal this to the public.
Failton adds that the younger Lacson also attempted to bribe the staff of the bureau chief. John Ano, UNTV News and Rescue, Taytay, Rizal.
Senator Panfilo Lacson has denied the allegations involving his son in smuggling activities. Nel Maribohok will tell us why.
Senator Panfilo Lacson vehemently denies the accusations of former Bureau of Customs Commissioner Nicanor Failton that his son Panfilo Lacson Jr. is involved in the smuggling of cement. The senator admits that his son is currently engaged in an importation business but does not smuggle cement.
And even before that, before I decided to deliver a privilege speech to expose the shenanigans in customs, tinanong ko rin siya, sabi ko mag-expose ako, baka mamaya ikaw nagsesemento kayo, baka mamaya may masisilip. Sabi niya, wala daddy. Okay, fine.
The senator also defends that his son pays proper taxes.
First, there's no smuggling of cement. Kasi hindi naman subject sa customs tariff and duties ang semento. Batable.
Lacson also emphasizes he will not tolerate his son in committing illegal activities. The former police chief also confirmed sending a text message to Failton after delivering his privilege speech yesterday.
Nag-reply ako lang sa kanya. Sabi ko, mag-usap tayo. No? Maybe next week or whenever you're free. My purpose in talking to him is to get more information or to get his at least his explanation. No, kasi I've known him naman even before he was assigned sa customs.
The senator also notes he cannot serve as a dummy or have any involvement in the said accusation.
Kung anak ko lang yung sinabi niya, bahala sila magsagutan, but sinabi niya Ini-insinuate niya na may kinalaman ako. And I'm telling you, on my parents' graves, na yung tulong ko lang ginawa sa kanya, nag-xerox ako ng PS mark nung na-approve ng DTI yung kanilang, yung sa quality standard.
In line with this, Lacson says he would also talk to his son about Faldon's other allegations, one of which is his alleged sending of grease money to the office of the Bureau of Customs. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Former Bureau of Customs Commissioner Nicanor Faldon showed to members of the media his house on Palmera Village 6 subdivision in Taytay, Rizal. The house is old, small, and has a simple design. The former customs chief says it only shows his humble lifestyle. It was in 1993 when Faldon moved to the said house, and according to the president of the subdivision's homeowners association, the family of the former customs chief never had a bad record. Faldon showed his house to belie the allegations of Senator Panfilo Lacson that he received 100 million pesos grease money from smugglers while he was the chief of the BOC.
Meanwhile, House Majority Leader Rodolfo Fariñas wants to make sure that the impeachment complaint against COMELEC Chief Andres Bautista will go through validation in the lower house. Grace Casin tells us why.
The impeachment complaint against COMELEC Chairman Andres Bautista has already been filed and endorsed in the lower house. The next question, according to House Majority Floor Leader Congressman Rudy Fariñas, is whether the complainant has personal knowledge of its content, especially regarding the basis of the complaint. This is important, according to Fariñas, so that it will not be rejected, similar to what happened to the impeachment complaint against President Rodrigo Duterte filed by Magdalo Party List Representative Gary Alejano due to Alejano's lack of personal knowledge of the allegations against the president. The complainants initially expressed that they will ask Patricia Bautista, the estranged wife of Paul Chief, to act as witness, having personal knowledge on the alleged hidden wealth of Bautista. But Fariñas has this to say.
Hindi naman siya complainant eh. It's a noble issue because it's the wife against the husband. Meron tayong marital or spousal privilege that one spouse cannot testify against another except if the case is one between the other. So, ayan ang nasa rules of court.
Meanwhile, Bautista refuses to comment on the complaints until he reads its basis. Nevertheless, he maintains he is ready to defend himself and answer everything regarding the accusations against him.
Sabi ko nga, yan ay ipapaliwanag sa tamang panahon at sa tamang lugar.
Handa kayong harapin yung impeachment, sir?
Oo naman.
2 weeks from now, the complaint may be referred to the House Committee on Justice to know if it is sufficient in form and substance. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
6 commissioners of the Commission on Elections will have called on Chairman Andres Bautista to file a leave of absence or just resign following the controversies he is facing, including the impeachment complaint and his own personal issues. In a press conference this evening, the 6 commissioners say that Bautista is no longer capable to lead the commission. They add that their petition is for the sake of Chairman Bautista himself.
He is at the crossroads. He has reached the point where for now he must choose family or public life.
According to the commissioners, the absence of Bautista in the budget hearing yesterday proved that he cannot function as the head of the commission. But they believe that he can defend himself against the allegations he is facing.
Kami po ay naniniwala na ididepensa ni chairman ng husto at sa lahat ng mga remedies available sa kanya sa loob ng ating batas at saligang batas na papatunayan niya na siya ay inosente.
The commissioners assure that if Bautista heeds on their call and file a leave or resign, there will be an acting commissioner to lead the poll body. The Senate Committee on Electoral Reforms and People's Participation is set to release next week its decision on the proposed postponement of the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections in October. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
Different groups attended the hearing of the Senate Committee on Electoral Reforms and People's Participation on the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections in October. The Senate Committee's chairman, Senator Richard Gordon, listened to all groups that attended the hearing.
Marami tayong problema, meron tayong war that can spread, meron tayong drugs talaga. And so, with a caveat to the law enforcement authorities that they must never use it again as a reason, and that the barangays who are going to be elected in the future, ayusin nila yung kanilang barangay. We have to protect the expenses of the government. I expect na this week tapos yung siguro by Monday kung makuha ko yung report ng House, ilalabas ko rito.
Some of the groups and even President Rodrigo Duterte himself want the said polls be postponed. One of the reasons for the postponement is a problem on narco-politics, noting there are drug syndicates and personalities using drug money to influence the elections. Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, also notes it would be difficult to push through with the elections as there is a current crisis in Mindanao. However, Senator Franklin Drilon believes the barangay and SK polls can no longer be postponed this year.
We are opposed to postponing once again the barangay election. For our democracy to continue to flourish, there must be a regular renewal of the mandate of the leaders, of our leaders. We hold our leaders accountable through an election.
Senator Bamakino, the representative of the youth in the Senate and the one who pushed for the SK Reform Act, says they want the October elections to push through.
No, because it's the first time, Chairman Bautista, that we will have an anti-dynasty provision. Maybe it's just right na ihiwalay na muna siya sa barangay para mabigyan ng pansin itong SK. Who knows, no? Maybe by separating it from the barangay elections, we can give it the right attention.
COMELEC Chairman Andres Bautista, meanwhile, calls on the two chambers of Congress to decide on the matter at the soonest possible time.
And we're just losing time. Today is August 24th, is less than 60 days being given to us. And
the said committee is expected to release their decision on the matter on Monday. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
The strain of avian influenza that affected chickens in San Luis, Pampanga can pose threats to public health according to the Department of Agriculture. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Sample of bird flu-affected chicken from San Luis, Pampanga, sent to an Australian laboratory by the Department of Agriculture, was tested positive of H5N6 virus. According to the focal person of the National Avian Influenza, Dr. Arlene Vichiaco, said there were less than 20 recorded deaths due to the strain in 2013. Most of them were from China, whose jobs were directly handling poultry animals.
Ang morbidity is yung infection niya sa tao, yung transmission niya sa tao. Very low yan. Tapos yung mortality rate pa niya is even lower.
Dr. Vichiaco said there were also presence of N6 strain in Southeast Asia, particularly in Myanmar, Laos and Vietnam, but there was no recorded human transmission. 2 farm workers from Ground Zero of the bird flu outbreak in San Luis, Pampanga were tested negative from the virus by the Department of Health. The Department of Agriculture, meanwhile, is confident that the virus is contained in the 7-kilometer radius control zone in San Luis, Pampanga, in Jaén and San Isidro in Nueva Ecija.
The fact that the farm workers have been there since April and none of them got sick is an assurance that it's not that serious.
Bird flu can be transmitted to humans through the dust from the bird's feather.
So if nadikit yan sa body mo, or halimbawa sa hand mo, tapos naganyan ka, di ba? O kaya kinamot mo ang mata mo, so may port of entry na.
Some of the symptoms of infection in humans is fatigue, loss of appetite, and cough and colds. But Dr. Vichiaco says N6 is a weaker strain as compared to N1, which can lead to more deaths.
Ang N1, yan ang talagang nung kasagsagan niya 2003-2004, talagang medyo mataas ang naging mortality niya. It reached 58%, if I'm not mistaken, among human.
The department assures the public that the chickens being sold in the market are safe to eat. And as proof, President Rodrigo Duterte will go to Pampanga on Monday to try a variety of chicken menus. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The cleanup and disinfection of all poultry farms affected by the bird flu outbreak in San Isidro, Nueva Ecija begins today. Roby de Guzman will tell us why.
Authorities finished today the culling of all chickens, quails and ducks in the town of San Isidro in the province of Nueva Ecija. Municipal agriculturist Rosana Calma says they have culled 70,576 fowls.
So far ngayong 11 a.m. close na ang San Isidro na depopulated na sila. Wala na. Kasi yung 1 kilometer radius nga ay kailangan patayin lahat yung ano. So okay na. So ang poultry nagdisinfect na. That's after that, yung backyard naman. Meron na available na yung mga pang-disinfect. Andiyan.
Authorities also begin today the cleaning and disinfection of poultry farms affected by the bird flu virus. This is after the culled chickens, quails and ducks left a foul smell at the poultry farms. Aside from the foul smell, authorities also have to ensure that the culled chickens have left no trace of the bird flu virus. Authorities say it might take 2 weeks before the foul smell at the poultry farms will be totally gone. The Department of Agriculture have culled more than 300,000 chickens and other poultry animals in the towns of Jaén and San Isidro. Roby de Guzman, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources has been conducting a shellfish sampling in 2 towns in the province of Masbate. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources is closely monitoring the towns of Placer and Mandaon in Masbate that yielded positive of red tide. Shellfish sampling in these 2 towns is ongoing to test the toxicity level of the aquatic products in the area.
Hanggat may red tide in Placer and Mandaon, continuous po yung gathering natin ng at least weekly ng sample ng meat ng shellfishes just to conduct yung tinatawag nating mouse bioassay to determine the toxicity level.
To date, 11 towns are affected by the shellfish ban. The BFAR could still not determine the duration of the shellfish ban. The agency, however, warns residents in the affected area not to eat shellfish products as they might contain poisonous organisms.
Kung pwede iwasan muna ang pag-gather ng shellfishes, considering na may red tide alert po tayo dyan. Hopefully malift na po yung red tide para talagang free pa rin tayo sa red tide toxin.
The BFAR says the changing climate is a major factor that causes red tide organisms to form. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority believes that the traffic flow in Metro Manila has eased to around 5%. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
MMDA Chairman Danny Lim reveals that the suspension of the transport network company Uber systems by the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board somehow eases the traffic congestion in Metro Manila. Lim, when asked about how much has been the improvement in Metro Manila's traffic condition, claimed it is around 5%. The LTFRB's 1-month suspension of Uber, whose number of units already reached 66,000, took effect on August 14.
Lumuwag ng konti yung traffic because of the problem talaga in Metro Manila is a volume problem of vehicles. Talagang napakaraming sasakyan at yung mga kalsada natin ay hindi naman nadadagdagan,
The MMDA is also pushing for the elimination of old vehicles and transport services. Lim says a big percentage of vehicles traveling along NCR roads are more than 15 years above. However, MMDA has to coordinate with concerned government agencies such as the LTO and LTFRB to implement this proposal. Aside from this, Lim believes infrastructure development is the long-term solution for traffic congestion in Metro Manila.
Truth is, we are several decades behind in terms of infrastructure kumpara sa ibang bansa. Other metropolis na we have similar problems, high population density per square kilometer, have long gone underground. Yung mga subways nila are several levels below ground. Tayo mag-uumpisa pa lang.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Next on Y News. 3 Caloocan cops maintain Kian Lloyd de los Santos resisted arrest that led to his death.
Evacuees in Iligan City hope to find missing kin 3 months since Marawi siege erupted.
And a low-pressure area now develops into tropical depression and named Jelena.
Y News will be right back.
Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno has now answered the issue on the impeachment complaint filed against her before the House of Representatives. The Chief Magistrate says she has done nothing that can cause her removal from the post. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno breaks her silence on the impeachment complaint filed against her as she answered questions from the media during her annual press conference held in Cebu City. Sereno was asked whether she is daunted by the complaint. She says she is ready to face it since she had been truthful with her position.
It does not affect me at all. I have done nothing wrong. Nothing can be proven against me that will show that the Chief Justice has betrayed her oath of office.
The Chief Justice was asked if somewhat she feel relieved because no one has endorsed her impeachment yet and some congressmen endorsed the complaint against COMELEC Chair Andres Bautista.
How can anyone rejoice at the difficulties of another human being?
Sereno also denied allegations of funds misuse in the judiciary under her watch. These include her supposed luxurious travels and that of her staff. In fact, Sereno says she doesn't feel alluded to by President Rodrigo Duterte's statement about a high-ranking government official who has lavish trips and hotel accommodations.
I have always lived a life of modesty. I have been prudent in the use of the court's resources. All the expenses for judicial reform, my travels, my security and vehicle requirements are all regular and above board. Public documents, the record will speak for itself, and I have not objected to the public release of the same.
She admitted she had been targeted for a couple of times during her 5 years as Chief Justice, but says she will not give in because she has work to do. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Cebu City.
3 Caloocan policemen stood firm that Kian Lloyd de los Santos resisted arrest. That's why he was killed. This has been their assertion in today's Senate inquiry on the 17-year-old's death. Lacson will tell us why.
The 3 policemen of Caloocan appeared today in the Senate hearing on the killing of Kian Lloyd de los Santos. They insisted the 17-year-old resisted arrest using a firearm, forcing them to gun him down. Based on the spot report of the Caloocan police, PO3 Arnel Owares was the one who shot Kian Lloyd de los Santos. This has been proven by their ballistic exam as bullets from Owares' gun were found in the crime scene. PO3 Owares, meanwhile, refused to answer questions as his lawyer was not with him during the Senate hearing. PO1 Jerwin Cruz and PO1 Jeremias Pereda admit they were the ones caught on CCTV footage carrying a man.
Your Honor, kami po yung dalawang nasa CCTV, pero yung sinasabi pong si Kian, hindi po si Kian yun. Yun po ay aming asset. Mahal pa po namin yun.
However, the 2 cops claim the man they were carrying was not Kian, but their asset who told them their next targets. Despite the assertion of the 3 cops that the teenager resisted arrest, they also claim that the 17-year-old was peddling illegal drugs. Caloocan City Police Chief Chito Bersaluna says that information was based on the people had talked on the ground as well as on social media.
We also base some doon sa mga lumalabas na ng mga ano doon sa mga social media na mayroon ding nagsasabi. Yun lang po ang basis namin, sir.
According to the Inspector General of Internal Affairs Service, the 3 cops committed violations in conducting the arrest of Kian, noting they did not follow the protocols of the Philippine National Police or PNP.
We found out na mayroong administrative offenses committed, grave misconduct. Grave misconduct dahil violation ng law, dahil inaresto na wala namang, hindi naman nag-commit ng crime, so hindi ma-effect yung warrantless arrest.
The PNP forensic team says Kian was killed while on knees as the trajectory of the bullet came from his left ears.
Sir, the position of the victim, he was kneeling down. He was kneeling face down when he was.
PNP Chief Ronald Bato de la Rosa, meanwhile, says only criminals and murderers can shoot an individual who is already on his knees.
Kung nakaluhod, hindi. Nakaluhod yung si Kian at nakatalikod. Nakatalikod, so babarilin mo, criminal ka, murderer ka, hindi ka law enforcer.
The PNP-ES has formally filed charges against the 14 cops part of the allegedly questionable operation, including the 3 policemen directly involved in the killing of Kian. The Criminal Investigation and Detection Group has not mentioned if it would file criminal cases against the involved cops. Mon Hokson, UNTV, News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Department of Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre and Senator Risa Ontiveros argued over whose custody should the 3 witnesses on the Kian de los Santos slay be. Nel Maribok will tell us why.
Liberal Party senators expressed concern over what could possibly happen on the Kian de los Santos slay case. Senator Risa Ontiveros says there could possibly be someone who will meddle on the case, especially when the jurisdiction on the 3 witnesses of the killing is now being questioned. The senator is particularly concerned the offer of the Department of Justice for the 3 to be under the Witness Protection Program.
Mukhang may mga pwersang gumagalaw para kunin ang mga testigo, i-undermine ang kaso at limitahan ang accountability sa ilan lamang na mga pulis.
DOJ Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre, however, insists that they have the capacity to take witnesses who are still minor.
And we have studied this, the psychology of child witnesses. Madali pong isuggest, they are susceptible to suggestion yung mga child witnesses. Kaya kung yan po ay nasa pangangalaga ng isang tao na hindi naman sanay o walang kakayahan o walang edukasyon tungkol sa pangangalaga ng mga child witnesses katulad halimbawa ng WPP.
Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Senator Franklin Drilon dares Secretary Aguirre to leave the investigation on the case up to the Office of the Ombudsman. This is to allay the perception that the investigation of the police personnel involved may not be fair.
That's why I'm asking you if you are willing, notwithstanding this MOA that you have with the Ombudsman, to cede to the Ombudsman primary jurisdiction over the investigation of this case.
If I will agree with you, then it would appear that I agreed with you that we are not capable of investigating.
Senator Ontiveros, on the other hand, requests that the 3 witnesses be under the custody of the Senate. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Meanwhile, naval forces in eastern Mindanao conduct coral reef restoration and preservation activities in Davao City. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
14 communities in Barangay Seaside, Davao City have participated in the coral reef restoration and preservation activities of the Naval Forces Eastern Mindanao together with the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources and the Davao City Water District. Barangay Seaside is one of the areas that are very near the Davao Gulf where the primary livelihood is fishing.
Isa ito sa mga pre-anniversary ng Naval Forces Eastern Mindanao dito sa Kapanakan na magkakaroon ng ganitong activities kasi ito yung nakaka-protect sa mga fisher folks natin sa kanilang trabaho.
14 artificial coral reefs were made and will be set up by the NFEM divers at the Marine Preservation Area in the Davao Gulf.
Dako kay matabang sa itong mga fishermen. Tungod kay diha, dool na kayo ang ilahang panagatan.
It will take around 2 years before the coral reef restoration in the Davao Gulf is completed. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Many families staying at evacuation centers in Iligan City are still looking for their missing loved ones who might have been trapped in the battle in Marawi City. Maki Libradilla will tell us why.
It has already been 3 months since the battle in Marawi City broke out, but Fatima has not seen yet her 4 children left in the said conflict-torn area. She is seeking help from the government and is hoping that her children are still alive.
Sir President, tulungan po niyo ako kahit konti lang po na mahanap ko yung mga anak ko sa anong paraan po. Ni isang balita po, ni isang text, wala malang.
Even at the Maria Cristina Evacuation Center, 2 wives lost their husbands when the multi-terror group attacked Marawi City.
As far as my knowledge is concerned, dalawa na-trap sa isang hospital sa Marawi. Wala pa din daw.
Lagindab says the wives of the missing men have already accepted that their husbands were gone. However, the wives are now hoping to just see the remains of their loved ones. Maki Libradilla, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
President Rodrigo Duterte visits Marawi City for the 3rd time. Pictures sent to media by Special Assistant to the President Bongo show the chief executive in a full battle gear. The president also talked to the troops in the main battle area, though there were no details yet as to what transpired in the conversation.
More than 400 prisoners of the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology in Biñan, Laguna were able to get free medical services from MCGI and UNTV. Leslie Longbowen will tell us why.
69-year-old Tatay Pedring, not his real name, have been behind bars for 3 years now at the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology in Biñan, Laguna. Since then, none of his relatives in Palawan visit him as they are unaware that he is imprisoned. Tatay Pedring says he couldn't send a letter to his family in Palawan because he already forgot their home address. And since no one visits him and provides medical assistance to him, he has been suffering from a skin disease that already spread in his body. This is why Tatay Pedring is thankful to the medical mission conducted by UNTV and its partners in public service for giving him the opportunity to have a medical checkup and cure for his skin problem.
Hindi ako makasigo. Kamusta ko po. Map din ako. Sobrang naman din ako. Masagal na ako eh. Wala naman po akong alam na gambas eh. Naalala ko lang po ng alcohol. Maraming po salamat na bisita niyo po kami dito.
Aside from Tatay Pedring, more than 400 inmates also benefited from the various medical services offered by UNTV and MCGI, like tooth extraction, massage therapy, as well as medical and legal consultation. The BJMP facility in Biñan is among the prisons with the biggest population in the region. Most inmates in the said prison facility compress in their jail cells. Inspector Rodolfo Bonto says the prison facility can house only 80 inmates, but it currently shelters 600.
Papasalamat po dahil nagkaroon po ng ganyang gawain dito po sa BJMP Biñan.
Kami po ay lubos pong nagpapasalamat po sa inyo po, kay Kuya Daniel Rason. Dahil po malaking bagay po to sa aming mga inmate dahil yung mga karamdaman nila ay magkakaroon ng lunas po ngayon sa libreng gamot, yung mga pati yung mga may mga masakit sa ipin.
Leslie Longbowen for Serbisyong Kasangbahay.
Coming up, Hong Kong transport resumes after massive Typhoon Haido while Macau struggles to recover.
Anak TV reminds parents of their responsibility of guiding their children while using social media.
And the Philippine team continues to soar in the 2017 Southeast Asian Games.
More from Y News after this break.
The Philippine culture and history take center stage in the festival launched in Saskatoon, Canada. Meanwhile, speakers of the Filipino language are reportedly increasing in the said province. TJ Dultra will tell us why.
A Philippine pavilion was launched in Saskatoon, Canada, where different people came to watch the culture and history of the Philippines. Locals were amazed with the different Philippine dances and other performances.
And I particularly enjoyed the dancing.
It's amazing, yeah. There's so many awesome things to see here. Favorite so far was probably the bamboo sticks on stage where they're dancing.
For some Canadians, Filipinos are one of the happiest people in the world, and they enjoy their company. Meanwhile, in Saskatchewan, users of the Filipino language has seen its increase of about 123%, alongside German and Cree.
Very proud that it is already widely used, making me feel home away from home.
Ito isang magandang palatandaan na tayo ay dumarami rito sa Banyaga na bansa. Palatandaan na tayo tinatanggap nila at nagiging malaya tayo, nagumalaw at katanggap-tanggap sa kanila.
Many Filipinos also feel happy to be able to introduce to their kids the history of their ancestors. TJ Dultra, UNTV News and Rescue, Saskatoon, Canada.
Anak TV reminds parents of the responsibility of guiding their children when using media such as television. Leslie Longbuan tells us why.
Instead of toys, children nowadays are more into gadgets, computers, and televisions. That's why in the Anak TV Symposium in Mandaluyong earlier today, the foundation reminded parents of their responsibility to supervise their children.
Kapag may tema na hindi pa angkop sa kanila, yung mga bagay na yon, kailangan talaga gabayan natin sila. Ilihis natin sila sa mga ganung bagay para hindi naman nila naisip na normal yan kasi napanood ko sa TV yon.
Meanwhile, parents agree that their guidance is very important, especially for their very young children.
Ay kailangan talaga gabayan ng magulang kasi alam mo naman marami ngayon mapapanood na hindi maganda.
Kung ano yung nakikita ng bata, gagawin niya pag in the near future. Yun ang natutunan niya, di ba? Kaya dapat may guidance lagi ng magulang.
Anak TV also believes that media such as television may be used to keep family bonds strong if used wisely.
May mga TV show na pwedeng panoorin ng pamilya, nagiging mga bonding moments yon. May mga opportunities tayo to teach lessons using what we watch. Pero kapag nanonood tayo, may nakikita tayo na opportunities to teach our kids na, oh, that's very good or that's bad.
Meanwhile, Anak TV recommends to watch programs that have their seal, which is an indication of being child-friendly. UNTV has 22 programs which bear the Anak TV seal. Leslie Longboan, UNTV News and Rescue, Mandaluyong.
Filipino athletes continue to bag more medals in the ongoing Southeast Asian Games. Ana Canlas tells us why.
Olympian Jesse Lacuna advanced to the finals of the 200-meter individual medley in the ongoing SEA Games in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This is after the Bulacanyo ranks 5th in the semifinals with a record of 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Representative of Singapore led the said category with a record of 1 minute and 57 seconds. Gilas Pilipinas dumped the SEA Games host Malaysia with a score of 32 ahead of the said team. This is the third win of the Philippine team with a score of 98-99, and since Gilas Cadets has no defeat yet, it tops the basketball category and thus enters the semifinals. The knockout game of Gilas Cadets will begin on Friday and will face the number 2 team in Group B. Meanwhile, the Philippine national women's volleyball team also entered the semifinals after defeating Malaysia. The Philippine team's advantage has been the height and talent of its players, who defeated the host country in 3 sets, in scores of 25-18, 25-11, and 25-16. Filipino athletes also bagged the gold medal in the national men's long ball. The team of Emmanuel Portasio, Ronald Lising, Leon Chacarion Jr., and Curtis Robert Guari defeated Malaysia in the score of 16-14 for the men's 4 category. Filipino players also bagged medals in the athletics and decathlon categories yesterday. Anthony Beram led the 200 meters run with a record of 20.84 seconds, which was followed by the surprising come-from-behind wins of Aris Toledo in the decathlon category. The first 8 gold medals of the Philippines in the 2 weeks game are in the categories of marathon, triathlon, wushu, and gymnastics. As of now, the Philippines has 11 golds, 15 silvers, and 23 bronzes. Malacanang is glad with Filipino athletes' continuous bagging of medals in the Southeast Asian Games.
We wish to extend our congratulations to the Filipino athletes who won and gave honor in yesterday's events in Kuala Lumpur.
Ana Canlas, UNTV News and Rescue, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
As of the latest medal tally, the Philippines still ranks 6th in the SEA Games overall standing with a total of 57 medals, 13 golds, 17 silver, and 27 bronze. Congratulations, Team Philippines, and keep winning.
Well, as the saying goes, why go for silver when you can go for gold? What do you say about the performance?
Well, I think we're doing well, and the good thing is there's more support, I think, from the government, and people are putting more value on competition. That's good.
Right.
Yes, and I hope that the government would continue to support our athletes and create more programs and projects that could further hone their skills.
And start them young.
Keep on going for gold.
Yeah.
Yes. Free milk. Those are the reasons behind the news, August 24, 2017. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am William Theo.
And I'm Darlene Basingan, because we need to know.
We will always ask why. Thank you for watching
Why News.